VC, the Waxed here. And in this video, I got to hang out with someone else in the VC. Who? Who would hang out with me in person? It was Michael from Poetry on Plastic. I'll leave a link to his channel below. And he recently just recorded a video of all the places we went when we hung out. Michael's a great guy. He often comes to Los Angeles, and we once before got coffee, and I took him to my local record store where he's always good about finding particular stuff. He suggested, his expertise is classical music, and suggested some stuff to me where it's an area I'm really not big on, and adding it to my collection. And we seemed to hit it off, and he came again, so I took him to a lot of the places I go. I thrift. He was nice enough to come with me going thrifting. I went to an estate sale with him, and to a bunch of record stores. And then on another day, he came down to Orange County for the OC record show, and we had a great time there and went to a few other record stores. He's recounted all this in a video, and I'll put a link to that too in the description. But I got a lot of records to show, and they're not in any particular order, and I'll tell you where we found them, and we'll go from there, right? So the next stack of records come from, we went to San Pedro, and if you know San Pedro, it's kind of a port city. It's not kind of, it is a port city here in Los Angeles, and there's a bunch of record stores there. Not huge, but we had a good time. And one place we went to with a very nice gentleman who owns the place is the Grand Emporium. You can pause that and look and go there. They have books and CDs and records. Huge classical selection. But I'll show you what I picked up there. I found a Japanese press of Lady Sings the Blues. And I was interested in getting into Billie Holiday. No better record than to do this. I know there's a Vinyl Me Please reissue that came out last year. But this Japanese press has a nice Verve label there. And there's the back, some ring wear, the cover, but the vinyl is near mint, beautiful. And it's a 1991 Japanese press of this. Sounds great. And as you might know, I picked up an ultrasonic and gave it a cleaning, and it was like a brand new record. So we'll go from there. I'll separate some other stuff out and show you that I picked up this album, which I have yet to listen to. It's the second John Handy album, the John Handy Quintet. And from what I understand from going online and looking, this is not a bad album. This is look how dirty that is. That really needs an ultrasonic cleaning, doesn't it? But it's 2i Columbia, and from what I know, that these 2i Columbias, even if they have some scuffs on them, if you clean them up nice, they sound great. You can't even really sometimes tell. But there's the back of it. Again, as I always say, if I don't know something about a record, if you know about John Handy, let me know. But I listened to a little snippets streaming of him, and very interested. I have heard of Tal Farlow, jazz guitarist, but I don't own any of his stuff. This is a early 70s reissue, Prestige. These green labels are awesome. As you might know, I'm a big twofer guy, and all these green label twofers, they're nice analog mastered recordings, and I've listened to this album. Great stuff. If you know more about him, please, again, in the comments, tell me about him. But this was a nice find, and the pricing on these records were great. There's the back. It's a really nice copy of this album, so there you go on that. As you know, and I keep saying as you know, but as you know, I love Oscar Peterson, and I found this great copy of him doing My Fair Lady on the Verve. This is a reissue in stereo, but sounds awesome. Great cover. Happy with that. Here's a great find. I did not know about Buddy Miles, but as I looked up, this is on Mercury. I know I believe he was in a band with Jimi Hendrix, but this is a funky, rockin'. It's categorized as jazz, but it's a funky, rockin', great album. I really enjoyed it. I mean, out of all these albums, this was a great find because I knew nothing of them. It was a blind buy. I mean, look at that cover. Wouldn't you buy that album? It's a, you know, and look at that gatefold inside. Nice. There he is wearing some sandals. But I highly recommend this album. Them Changes. If you find this, pick it up because this is a rockin', funky, cool rock soul, jazz. I don't know what you would categorize it as, but it's good. We did go, interrupt some of the flow from the Grand Emporium. We did go to an estate sale, and the vinyl there was nothing to write home about, except there were a lot of OG Sinatra albums. I got a couple of them. If you're going to get a Sinatra album, this is what you should get. And there's a recent stereo reissue, but this is OG mono, and it sounds beautiful, and it is minty fresh, and even the cover is minty fresh. Finding this, I believe they priced it at $7, a steal on this sucker. And here's the other one I found, Swing Easy, OG mono. It even has the original price sticker on it. The Broadway used to be a department store chain here in LA. I mean, they closed down not long after I moved here a long time ago, but this was $5. I don't know. I think this is the 60s. $5 in the 60s. That seems pricey to me. But, you never know. Now back to the Grand Emporium. Those two were from the estate sale we went to. Michael, hanging out with him, he inserts stuff he thinks you will like, and generally I like him, like his recommendations. But this, when we were at there was a back room at the Grand Emporium just all full of classical, and he was in there for a while. And then he came out and he goes, "You need to get this Holst Planets," and he's recommended a Zubin Mehta conducted album before, and I enjoyed it. And I'll tell you something. I know that Holst wrote this in the early 1900s, but I'll tell you something. This is very cinematic. I mean, I don't know this is the case, but listening to this sounds like that's where John Williams got his, it's very Star Warsy, the planets, Highly recommend this, man. And, this wasn't expensive at all. It's on the London label there. Highly recommend that. I have not listened to this, but got to give a shout out to Eric Weinbender. If you don't know who he is, cool dude. Eric's awesome. And I hear Eric mention that he's a big fan of Savoy Brown. So that's why I picked this up. It wasn't much money on the Parrot label. Have not listened to it yet. But I'm very interested in learning some more. He's a big fan of that. That's why I picked it up. Okay, next. I'll tell you something. Whenever you see a Steely Dan album in the wild, you buy it. Because you don't really see them, and they haven't repressed them. And you're bound to have a friend who wants Steely Dan, and Pretzel Logic is a great album. And I have a copy of it, but I think this one might be a better copy on that ABC. Might be just a better copy than I have, but I'll have to do a sound check and compare the two. So we'll learn then. I believe that was it for my take on the Grand Emporium. We did stop at a thrift store. And as a side note, Michael didn't find anything. I found a CD that Japanese pop double CD, but it's put away. But I did find a Larry Carell album. There's Larry and his wife. And if you don't know Larry Carell, he's a pretty rockin' jazz guitarist. Similar to John McLaughlin. the 11th Hour is one of bands of like a jazz fusion bands he was in. I know he's a kind of a journeyman. He played with Chico Hamilton, but pretty rockin'. And this was pretty minty. So a weird find at a thrift store because you really don't see a lot of jazz. You see a lot of Engelbert Humperdinck. One of the record stores we went to in San Pedro was but Michael pressed upon me to pick up this Japanese metal band, Dead End. I have not listened to these. One is sealed. This one's sealed right here. And if you know Eddie Perez, big fan of this stuff. And this is sealed, so it wasn't that much money. And the thing that got me from Michael saying things, he says, this is very Cure-like. So I'm very interested in listening to these and getting into it. As you know, if you watch any of my videos, I haven't shown metal. I like metal. I have CDs and digital, but not a lot of, not at all, metal vinyl. So I don't know, people would consider these Japanese metal, but, well, I'll let you know. So next. Okay, here's the good part. So this all took place I think we met up on Wednesday of last week. On Sunday, we went to the Orange County Record Show, and I've done videos where I've gone there, and it's always a great time. There's always stuff to buy and find. And as you see, yeah, I bought a lot of stuff there. So let's just get going. So I found a twofer. I found a bunch of twofers. If you're not really into the twofers, these Blue Note reissue series from the 70s, mid-70s to late 70s, are typically Blue Note sessions that were not released. So I do not know a lot about Randy Watson. Randy Watson was from Coming to America, Sexual Chocolate. Randy Weston. But I've listened to one of the albums on this, and it is great. A pretty good mix of stuff here. And, I'm a big fan of Kenny Durham and Coleman Hawkins on there. Even Johnny Griffin and Elvin Jones. Great sidemen on this. But recommend this. This was not that expensive, $14, but I'll show you another one I found later that is just going up and up in the price. So recommend this. I'd like to, if you guys know more about him, please let me know. Okay. One my big fan of is Gene Emmons. Whenever I can find a nice Gene Emmons album, I will pick it up. Jug, he is such a soulful. It probably might be the stereotypical jazz saxophonist you hear to be in a romantic mood, but he's the dude. And this is a early 70s reissue on that green label. Sounds awesome. Can't recommend picking up some Gene Emmons. If you see some stuff, you will not go wrong by finding his stuff. Okay, next. Love Eric Dolphy. And this is Eric Dolphy twofer. This is a Copenhagen concert. And I know that there's a series of 3 different albums that he played in Copenhagen. This is 2 of them on this twofer. The cover is shot, but the vinyl is beautiful. I recommend this a lot. Eric Dolphy died young. He had undiagnosed diabetes. But there's a treasure trove of material to pick up of Eric Dolphy to enjoy. And this is no different. I have yet to find anything he's done that is not awesome. So I highly recommend picking up some Eric Dolphy stuff. I'm sort of rearranging stuff in an order. I feel like talking about saving the better stuff for last. Another thing I found, another twofer, is Mongo Santa Maria. Not hugely knowledgeable Mongo, but I think this particular copy is like a misprint. Usually the liner notes are inside the gatefold. It's like a magic trick. There is nothing printed here. It is blank. I want to return this in 1973. But But I do know he's more Afro-Cuban in his style, and I've listened to some stuff, and it sounds great. I'll let you know what I think more of this, but it wasn't that expensive to pick up this twofer, and I'm a twofer guy. So next, I think the one musician I have the most of in vinyl is Bill Evans, and I picked up this Bill Evans Infinity. I know he did a bunch of albums, or at least a couple, for Warner Brothers. This is with Toots Filaments. I would say next to him and Stevie Wonder, they play a very similar style of harmonica. Is awesome. I know he plays some guitar. I have one album of his where he does both, but such a heartbreaking kind of soulful harmonica. It's more that kind, like Stevie Wonder. It is not kind of blues harmonica. It is sort of haunting, his style of harmonica playing. And I recommend this album. If you find it, get it. I've seen it a bunch every time, but this was a nice minty copy of it, so recommend that. Okay. Ooh, great find. I found a 70s reissue of John Coltrane's Impressions, and this is awesome. Awesome album. And it really wasn't that expensive, which was surprising to me. But it's on this cool ABC when they purchased Impulse green label. A lot of these 70s reissued green labels, but it sounds great. This is more, I think this is made up of a bunch of different sessions. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It might be a comp, but this is more him going in the avant-garde, improvisational, free jazz area. But it's a great listen. It's very approachable. Recommend all John Coltrane. But it was nice to pick that up. This was a blind buy. I do not know Don Ellis. It's always a mark of I will pick up if Ron Carter's on there. And Jackie Bird. Kind of looks like Abraham Lincoln there, doesn't he? 4 score. This is again a green label 70s reissue, but I think this came out in the early 60s originally. I've listened to some of it. Have not listened to all of this yet, but interested. Nice blind buy. I did buy a non-jazz album. I found the Bootsy Collins album. I did a video. I believe I picked up a Funkadelic Maggot Brain. Awesome ass album. This is on the Warner Brothers label, but Bootsy Collins is awesome. You can't hate Bootsy Collins. And this is just a fun listen album. Recommend Bootsy Collins and Funkadelic Parliament. Pick this up because it was dirt cheap, and it's pretty scuffed up. Is this Charles Lloyd Forest Flowers? It's a live set he did at Monterey. Great. It's noise. This one's noisy. It was $6, but I wanted to give it a listen. I know there's a great I believe there's a Speaker's Corner reissue. I don't think I'm confusing it with Pure Pleasure. There's a Speaker's Corner which you can easily get. I might give this off and pick up that one because I don't have any Charles Lloyd, and he's still around, still making albums. So very interested in getting more into Charles Lloyd. Here was the find of the show, okay? Find of the show was the sealed Japanese pressing of Kenny Dorham, Round About Midnight at the Cafe Bohemia. It's sealed. Technically, it is sealed. There's a chunk of the shrink missing here. I have not cracked it open yet. Love Kenny Dorham. Have a lot of his albums, but interested in listening to this. This is a 80s reissue. And there's a Japanese hype sticker right there. this is only 35 bucks. Way underpriced. That's what's the benefit of going to these shows. So very happy. This was the prize pickup at the record show. Okay. While we were at the record show, again, you can watch Michael's video where he explains more, but he found a booth of people that had Japanese pressings, and he's big into city pop, which is Japanese, pop music, a lot from the 80s. I don't know much about it, but watch his video. He'll tell you more about it. But he asked, and they said, well, we have a record store in Torrance. So we did leave there, actually, and I took him to one of my favorite record stores in Orange County, and that's Left of the Dial. And Michael found a Grail album he had been looking for there. And I picked up, surprise, surprise, another twofer, Wynton Kelly twofer, which, again, these twofers are two albums that the OGs are very expensive to pick up. And I love Wynton Kelly. This twofer is a great listen. I cleaned it up in ultrasonic and listened to it, and some great stuff. Great, and he played with everyone. Who is on here? I'll pull out. And this was a nice copy. There's Nate Adderley and Kenny Burrell, Paul Chambers, Jippy Cobb, Benny Goldson, Bobby Jasper, Philly Joe Jones. Look, unlike that Mongo one that has the correct liner notes inside here. It was printed on this one. But, these twofers, I mean, now they're good. I'm about to show you a twofer that's going for a lot of money, and I was surprised I was able to find it. But, yeah, Left of the Dial. That's a good place. That's one of the other record stores we went to. Okay, so then Michael found this record store. It carries Japanese, like city pop, a lot of Japanese pressings. It has a great jazz section. It's not a big store, very tiny. But I was surprised how good that jazz section was. And here's their information if you want to pause. It is Boogie Mao Sounds. I think I'm saying that right. Mao? Correct me in the comments. I think Michael said it right. Okay, the find there is the Sam Rivers twofer, this Blue Note reissue series. This is Sam Rivers more into kind of experimental free jazz stuff. Donald Byrd's on here, James Spaulding, Cecil McBee, Andrew Hill. It's a serious listen to this stuff. But this twofer, I got for 25 bucks. They're going north. This particular one, there's a few of these. Yeah, a lot of them now. But that Randy Weston, not Watson, Sexual Chocolate. That one was affordable. This 25, but you could go on Discogs, and this is one that's becoming hard to find. So the last album on the show is the first album I ever bought off a wall in a record store. And usually the ones off the wall are a little pricey, but this wasn't. I'm a big Mal Waldron fan. This is just him playing the piano. It's a Japanese press. It was 30 bucks. But it is great. There's the label Globe. And this was recorded, I want to say Italy. But it might be another European country. It's just him playing the piano. And I'm almost certain it's just him. Well, maybe not. There's music written there. But he's great. I can't recommend Mal Waldron enough. If you find him, he's a big sideman. But he did a lot of albums for Prestige on his own. He went into the free jazz world later in his career. There's a great reissue that came out. I want to say Speaker's Corner with him and Archie Sharp. It's just a saxophone and a piano. It's a tribute to Billie Holiday. That was recorded in 2001 or 2. That just recently came out. It's a double album set. I do not have it. I've listened to it on streaming, and it's a good listen. So recommend that. All right. I believe I've shown everything. That was my haul. I hope you liked it. It was great hanging out with Michael. It's always a fun time. He knows a lot of stuff I don't know, so it's always appreciated where he's imparting his wisdom onto me. If there's anything I showed you knew more about than I do, please leave in the comments. I learn a lot from people's comments, believe it or not. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like more of this stuff, let me know. I'll do more. And until next time, the Waxed out.